Hi guys, okay, as part of your Day 5 implementation pack, you will have received the Emergency Management Plan template. I wanted to run you through this one separately. We talked a lot in the other videos about making sure that your workplace is prepared for any emergency that may arise, that being a fire, flood, storm, cyclone, etc. So what the Emergency Management Plan allows you to do is it actually allows you to create scenario-based response plans dependent on where your workplace is. So if you're in an area, say you're in the middle of an industrial area where there's the sheds around you have a lot of flammable materials, obviously you're at a higher risk of having a fire in your own workshop as opposed to somebody whose workshop's isolated in the middle of a farm or something like that. So this plan template allows you to accommodate those variants and to be able to create it based on those scenarios, as I said. So basically what it talks through is the first part is the business risk to your workplace. So if you're at somewhere where you've got a lot of the risk of a flood, if you're on a floodplain, you might want to have your emergency plan looking more to that. If you're in a storm belt, so you're getting lots of storms, or you're getting North Queensland, you get a lot of cyclones, something like that, you may want to have that incorporated in here. That way everybody knows exactly what to do and what to plan for in those events. So it talks about your critical scenarios, your business areas. Those of you who are familiar with IT, you talk about in there a disaster recovery plan. This is effectively a disaster recovery plan for emergency management. So the idea behind a disaster recovery plan is the fact that how long can your business afford to be out of action before you start losing money. So if you're in an area where you've got a warehouse elsewhere where you can do sales out of that, your workshop might not be as critical to be up and running as opposed to somewhere where all your manufacturing's done on that one point, you've got a lot of orders in, you really can't afford to be out of action for more than an hour or two before your business starts to lose money. So in here it talks about all the critical business areas, and this includes keeping your software and your computer hardware safe, or your equipment, how that's going to be affected, what happens if a flood's coming, what equipment do you need to get off the floor, etc. So that talks through all that. And then at the end there, you've got your scenarios. So that's where you really write down what it is that you're going to have to do. So if you're in a storm belt, the detail might be a storm, critical failure might be a power loss, a flood, etc. The background, the impact to your business. So what's going to happen if you have a flood or a storm and you lose power? What are you going to do immediately? Get equipment off the floor, disconnect your electricity supply, etc. What are your secondary actions? Evacuate, so on and so forth. So it talks about that through your scenarios. Basically, completing those scenarios allows you, as I said, to manage your emergency plans, to have your workplace prepared. This is shared with everybody within the workplace so that if you're not there or somebody else isn't there, they know exactly what to do as these emergencies arise. It could save your business a lot of money if you got this under control. I certainly, in the 2011 floods, there was buildings in Brisbane that were out of action for weeks because nobody had planned to move the generators from within the basement. The basements got flooded, generators went underwater, and it cost millions to get them fixed. So just keep an eye out for that. And this emergency management template, keep it working. Okay, thanks guys, see ya.